So I'm going to transfer it. Woo! We're going to give this to the birds. Today we're going to make something that everyone who goes to Sicily comes back raving about. I'm going to make pasta con sarde in a simplified version that will be easy to make and just as delicious. Here are the ingredients that we're going to use. In the absence of wild fennel, we are going to use bulb fennel. We're going to make a salad out of the bulb, and we're going to make a broth out of the leaves, so that the pasta will be flavored. You know, we never waste anything. So this is not something that we eat out of the bulb. You cut it out and people throw it away. We're not going to throw it away. We're going to make a flavorful broth out of this, take it out, and then we'll put the pasta in. The pasta is a typical pasta for pasta con sarde, which is bucatini. Bucatini are thicker spaghetti that have a hole. They're like little straws. And this is the traditional pasta for pasta con sarde. We're going to simplify the method of making pasta con sarde by using this very excellent condimento, which has wild fennel, which is not available outside of Sicily, but it also has pine nuts, it also has sardines, and it also has raisins, or rather this has currants. So what we're going to do is use this as a base, and then augment it with anchovies. Anchovies are used in our cooking because they add salt to whatever dish you're making. But salt doesn't give you the dimension, the flavor profile that anchovies will give you. It gives you a fragrance and a taste that you can't get by just using salt. So we're going to use fennel, raisins, pine nuts, breadcrumbs, anchovies, and garlic. So that all put together will make a delicious pasta con sarde. The first thing we're going to do is to make the stock for this dish. So water is already on the stove and it's about to boil. We're going to cut off the leaves. Okay, and we are going to put it in a colander so it could be washed. I'm chopping it coarsely. I could already smell it. I'm going to wash this and put it into the boiling water and let it cook. This we'll reserve for later. The fennel now goes into the boiling water. We now add exactly a tablespoonful of salt. That will cook for about 20 minutes. Now I want to say a word about the breadcrumbs. For those of you who have been to Italy, you know that if you ask for a clam sauce, linguine with clam sauce, and you ask for cheese, they're not going to give it to you. Why is that? Because fish is a very delicate flavor, and cheese is very assertive, and you just don't put cheese together with fish. Instead of cheese, what they do in Sicily is they take plain breadcrumbs. Please don't buy those flavor things that has parsley and garlic and oregano and who knows what else. Just plain breadcrumbs. Take your 2-day or 3-day-old bread, put it in a food processor, and you have breadcrumbs. That's all you have to do. We're now going to brown the breadcrumbs. This is a cup of breadcrumbs. We're going to add 2 tablespoonfuls of olive oil. I like to use a cast iron pan because it holds the heat very well. When you're doing breadcrumbs, or when you're browning breadcrumbs, you just stay at it and you are constantly moving them, because as the pan heats up, they burn very quickly. This is such a delicious addition to many pasta dishes that you may want to add it to other things as well. I always brown the breadcrumbs like this because the time it takes to do the breadcrumbs rewards you with so much flavor rather than using just plain breadcrumbs. As soon as this is done, you must get it off the frying pan as quickly as possible. As they sit in the hot pan, they continue to brown. Okay, we're now ready to take the fennel out of the cooking water. All right, the water is boiling. now, and you might notice that it's slightly yellowish. That's the color that it gets from the fennel. So now we're going to put the pasta in. Remember, pasta gets put in whole, and then as it begins to soften, you push the pasta into the pot. By the way, don't be tempted to put oil in the pasta water. I don't know whose invention that is, but you don't do that, because the oil will keep the condiments from sticking to the pasta. There's no reason for it. As soon as it comes to the boil, you will lower the heat to a simmer and set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm chopping the cooked fennel, and we will add it to the sauce. We're starting the sauce now. We added about 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil to the pan. I'm now adding the garlic. 2 to 4 to taste, you know. If you like the flavor, add a little more. And now this is going to be very fast. Okay, that's 4 cloves of garlic, low heat. Now I'm going to add the anchovies. This is 6 fillets. We're going to let them melt into the oil. Okay, the anchovy has dissolved. This gets poured in. These are the sardines. We're going to take a little bit of pasta water to clean out the can. We're going to let the anchovies dissolve in the condiment. And now we're going to add raisins, 1/2 cup of raisins, and 1/2 cup of pine nuts. I'm going to add the chopped fennel that we cooked previously. Okay, we're going to let that come to a boil. Tasting the pasta. It's done. The condiment is now boiling, so we're going to let it cook for a minute to integrate all the flavors. Now remember that you don't throw away the pasta water until you're finished with your dish, because if this is a little bit too dense and you want to thin it out, you are going to thin it out with the pasta water. We're going to use our magnificent strainer, and what you do is you go into your pot and it will pick up just about everything that's in the pot. See? So I'm going to transfer it. Obviously, short pasta is easier to do than long pasta, right? We're going to give this to the birds the proper way. Okay, now stir, and let's add a ladle full of the broth. Remember that this has flavor and it has starch from the pasta, so it's a perfect thing to add to a sauce, because that will not change the flavor profile of the sauce. Whereas, you know, if you add cream, that's good too, but the cream will overpower everything else. So we don't use cream to thin out a sauce unless it's meant to be there from the beginning. Okay, now we're finishing the dish, the presentation of the dish. Remember that even though you have used olive oil to cook this, you are going to add some olive oil at the very end when it doesn't get heated up. So here's that final drizzle of olive oil, which is so crucial. If you have great olive oil that somebody gave you as a gift, this is what you use it for. Now we're going to top it with our wonderful breadcrumbs, and then the rest of the breadcrumbs get placed at the table so that if anybody wants more, they can have more. And finally, since you can't possibly use enough pine nuts, here's a sprinkle of pine nuts. We've just made pasta con sarde, and we made use of the ends of the fennel, of the fronds. So we're now going to make use of the bulb. This doesn't necessarily have to be made at the same time. This is a salad that goes with absolutely everything. Of course, if you wanted to serve it, serve the pasta as a primo and serve this salad with crusty bread and maybe a piece of cheese, that would be a perfectly acceptable and fine end to that meal. This is a beautiful fennel. So we're going to make an orange and fennel salad. Orange salad is distinctly Sicilian, We use it as a snack. We use it to go with chicken, with fish, with beans, with anything. So, very easy to do. We're going to peel the orange. If you're very industrious, you can take this peel and candy it. We're going to cut it directly into a bowl, not sliced, but just in chunks. So the fennel is just sliced thinly. You can slice it by hand, you can slice it in a food processor, you can certainly slice it in a mandolin. Just be careful. I just do it like that. Doesn't have to be any thinner than that. After Howard and I were married, this was about the first shock of his life. He saw me cutting up oranges and he assumed I was making Macedonia, or I was making a fruit salad, which he loved. And then he saw me putting salt on the oranges and he was stunned. Why am I putting salt on oranges? And then, heaven forbid, I put olive oil, which he had never seen in his house because his mom was Irish and she didn't use olive oil. So he tasted the orange salad and fell in love with it immediately. So I've been making it for over 50 years. So we have salt here, we have olive oil, and we have a little bit of red pepper flakes. Now you take it and you give it a good stir. Now this is a salad that you can certainly make before dinner. You don't have to worry about it wilting because it will just marinate and will taste even better. So this is, of course, the way you make use of the fennel completely. We use the fronds to make the broth to cook the pasta, and that gave the pasta a tremendous amount of flavor. And of course, the bulb, everybody knows, makes a delicious salad. So actually, you could do all kinds of things with this. You can bake this, you can saute it. It's delicious, but it's also delicious raw, just the way you see it. So this is the orange salad. This is our pasta con sarde. For those of you who have had it in Sicily, I hope that this brings thoughts back of fun, good food, and a wonderful stay. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like it if you do, and subscribe. Buon appetito!
Toasted breadcrumbs, no cheese.
This is so good that you will start putting toasted breadcrumbs on everything. Don't put it on your cereal. Buon appetito!
Altrettanto.
Salute! It's good. Thank you for watching. Alla prossima volta.
Don't forget to subscribe.